Yeah, lots of Carl, lots of Otis as well, and of course the Max, definitely always going to be a staple diet, it seems, of most of the maps, and this is potentially one of those maps. Ring of Fire and Hot Zone coming in next, and I'm looking out for Meg, Trav. I'm just going to call it Meg for me right now in Ring of Fire. It's such a great one. Here we got as well the predictions over at event.brawlstars.com for who the viewers at home think is going to take home the win, and they are seeming to be on side here, now or never, with 58%.
I'm genuinely surprised it's not kind of swayed more to now or never, to be honest with you. I don't know if we've kind of got some hidden fans over on the side of MrDosa, but, you know, now or never are pretty heavily the favourites coming into this one, and I'd have probably put in about 80-20 if it was just my prediction myself. But, you know, we can see big upsets happening. We've seen it in the past. We've seen these lower end, more unpredictable teams getting towards those finals. And, you know, I honestly wouldn't be too sad about saying it, because I'm coming in here, I'm saying they're the underdog, but still, there's always a big chance, and we're seeing draft become more and more prominent throughout last year and coming into this one. It can definitely be all kind of up to the draft before you even get into the game.
It's the great thing, isn't it, about having the first stream of the year, because you just genuinely don't know how teams are going to fare and who is going to take that early advantage, that early lead here. But going into the draft, then the bans are in, and Meg is actually banned on the right hand side there as well, which I was not too surprised to see. But the Max being banned, the B and the Lou. I mean, there's 3 brawlers that we just literally spoke about already being eradicated. Penny being that first pick coming in then by MrDosa, and not a bad one to have. I think that can also, you know, apply a lot of pressure with that Penny turret, but I don't know whether it's like my first go-to pick here. The other bans on the side of things for now or never were Meg, Poco, and Bonnie.
I mean, you know, Penny's been becoming more and more versatile, especially when we saw that salty barrel being added as the gadget. It allows her to kind of have a bit more of a say in fights at close range. If she can place it right and get the splash through, it's definitely very solid. But talking about versatility, I think Janet probably is the most versatile brawler in the game. Very hard to be countered fully, and it does counter a lot of stuff along the way as well.
That was kind of like the brawler that I felt was a pretty decent place to start. Bell going to come in to go alongside that, and of course it's going to cause a bit of a problem in that mid area. I quite like the idea of Squeak coming in here for MrDosa, or just we see a lot of kind of ideas that are quite safe actually on Ring of Fire, like Spike or Stu coming in for that side lane aggressiveness. We haven't really got anything on that side of things, or potentially even a Rico, although I feel it's kind of dropped a little bit further away. But, you know, if there's any region that would pick it, it is going to be EMEA, let's be honest. But, of course, some big teams that just didn't make it into the monthly finals, which would be more fitting to have picked a brawler like it. SK Gaming, of course, and FUT Esports did not make the monthly finals. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on today. But, of course, Crow and Jesse coming. We saw a lot of Jesse actually in Hot Zone earlier today in the APAC region.
Well, I mean, they've clearly kind of taken a leaf out of the APAC region's book there, bringing that in, because, you know, in the previous years and previous metas, that really wouldn't have been something that would be brought on any map. Never mind something like Ring of Fire, but they're clearly going for a very spawner-central comp. Penny turret. I actually do, you know. I'm glad you remember this, because I'm just not a Jesse fan whatsoever, but there is the Squeak as the last pick coming in from now or never. You know, Residue's always going to be strong, but it's also going to be extremely capable at kind of, if the Penny turret isn't placed right, taking that down as well.
Yeah, I've got very firm recollections of last year when you and Teddy went in ham on Jesse. You absolutely hated to see it. I'm on the fence a little bit about whether it's going to work so well on Ring of Fire. I mean, ultimately, you're looking down the barrel of a Janet and a Belle, and that's going to be 2 great brawlers to eradicate that turret very quickly. I mean, this is not dueling beetles in the eventuality of there being no wall breaker. I do worry about the Jesse turret and its, you know, susceptibility. Scrappy is going to have a tough time. There's no doubt about it. And with that Squeak for control, I'm much preferring what I'm seeing on the side of now or never.
Well, first game of EMEA 2023 monthly finals were coming in, and it's a strong start for now and ever. They've taken this mid control. They're using this range advantage that they have through the mid with Lukey here on the Bell. But Dorian doing some nice job of juking forward and actually getting some form of control for his team. Emric over the right hand side and Salty over the left can't do anything without the turrets, and they can't move without them.
Yeah, it just feels so far like for MrDosa, their hands are tied behind their back at the moment. Now sort of creeping forwards on the zone, but Dorian now 480 HP, forcing Emric then to push for an aggressive manner. But he's going to be completely outnumbered here very, very shortly and just survive. Salty Barrel's not going to really do much in terms of value for him now, but the control definitely much more with now and ever. In fact, I'm surprised the scoreline is so close given the way that they are playing it so far.
Yeah, nest egg popped, but a little slowing toxin in return from Dorian. Salty kind of taking his place now, and they're doing a really nice thing here where they're taking one by one. One will go low, and then the other one will rotate on and get some percentage, and it's actually kept them on par with what Now and Ever have brought to the table in terms of percentage so far. But Tomsy just doing such a good job on this left-hand side, just being aggressive and keeping Salty back now. It's extending this lead just that little bit further for Now and Ever, but I'm not sure if Lukey had a little bit of a lag spike there, but did stand still, and the slowing toxin's not going to allow him to move much either.
Yeah, I'm surprised he survived, to be honest, but survive he does, and capturing vital points in the zone. Dorian jumps in now very aggressively, gets some good taps from the Tomsy on the way as well, and Salty now just trying to finish off the deal, but can't quite connect the shots to do so. Oh, there he does, and surely just a couple of shots away now from a turret. If he can make that turret count, it could come at the perfect time for this game.
Well, Emmerich has his now, and an aggressive one coming in from Jesse, and that's going to be quite strong as well. Spam those recharges onto it, get some heals, and that's going to be out-healing any damage that Janet's bringing in at the moment. Squeak's even having to pinch over at the moment, and a lot of ammo has just been expended on that. Dorian's going to get a super coming in from Kanan here, and that's actually got 2 down now as Jesse falls over the left-hand side to Tomsy as well. Just Emmerich remaining. He's got this kind of defensive penny turret being placed, and Emmerich just can't really do a lot about it now. They're reclaiming control. Tomsy dropping that drop the base on the left-hand side, and now just slotting into the mid. Can't really let Salty get around this left-hand side, though. It's going to be a massive positioning problem.
It's so close, but if this push pays off here for MrDosa, they could turn the tides. But Dorian, oh, pops there, the nest egg, and that is a terrible place to find yourself here. Kanan trying to pick up the scraps, so Emmerich's still surviving on. Now a 2 versus 1. The jump in, the final ditch of desperation there from Dorian to try to bring this one back, but it's not going to be enough. Now or never will take the first game.
Come back little by little and actually have a bit of a fight, considering they're not the biggest names in Brawl Stars, but they're proving to us right now that they've got the ability to do it.
And let's be honest, you know, the Jesse pick wasn't completely useless. I mean, it actually did some decent work. I mean, I like the spark plug gadget there from Salty for the slowdown. It kind of paired quite nicely there with Penny's, you know, turret to be able to really land the mark. And let's see, though, as they've got to get that objective captured better. And it's kind of surprising. I did think coming into this one that Jesse would play the mid role, actually, MrDosa, but they sort of seem to, like you said, be balancing it around a little bit and jumping between Dorian and himself for mid, as depending on who's still on their feet here. Emmerich as well is doing really well in terms of survivability. Big taps from Salty. He's actually punished though for it. Gets a bit too close.
Yeah, Tomsy coming aggressive now and does take down Dorian, but Emmerich is slotting around this side, catches him off guard and gets the takedown. Got to get some charge towards that turret, and he really wasn't getting any from Kanan, so did have to make that rotation now. Back over to the right once more, super in hand from Lukey, and it is just a little bit difficult for Dorian to really do anything when he's outranged so heavily. Soup comes down on the right hand side, but it is tanked. Salty Barrel is going to make it so he's not slowed down, but Lukey just trying to get some shots off. Emmerich quite out of position in a 3v1 pretty much. Salty pushing aggressive, but Tomsy catches him off guard as well. Auto aims onto the turret and does get traded out. Jumping from Dorian should get 1, but doesn't get 2, and Kanan survives just a little bit longer. Percentage gap is quite substantial.
Scoreline is very dominantly in favor here of Now or Never, let's be honest. But some of the plays here from MrDosa are commendably done, you know, in that respect. Tomsy with a nice little take to the air here, and will continue to assert the pressure onto Dorian. Nice drop the base as well, keep the pressure on, and evading those shots there from Everett coming in. It is looking very close. 15% now is all that Now or Never need, but a little bit of a push back and some low HP on the side of Now or Never. It might be a time to push here.
I mean, they've got to push at this point, or it's going to be too little too late. Kanan pushing around the right-hand side, though, getting some work done. Dorian being caught off guard in this pinch and taken down. Now Salty going to fall over the left as well, and pretty much everybody just dropping like flies on the side of MrDosa. Not what they want, but
takedowns counts as we kind of wanted to see from them. And as you said, elevating your life, so important. But speaking of which, going into bounty and layer cake, that's exactly what both sides need to really focus in on, and especially for MrDosa. Considering that last matchup, they've got to be able to do that better here in bounty, because kills and deaths matter. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, definitely so. And, you know, with this new rule that we have in BSC 2023, you can sub players out in between sets. We have, even with their success in the first set, Tomsy's going to be subbed out for Jiaku, seeing him come in now and joining the boys over on Now or Never as that substitution. We'll see if it makes a positive or a negative change, I guess.
I quite like it, you know. I mean, you know, get that first set win, swap your team around a little bit, keep everyone's thumbs warm. I quite value that. Janet kind of come in here for MrDosa. Now I'm never going to be picking that max first pick. I quite like Otis here, though. For me, quite a safe pair of hands, and being able to mute so important. Max is very aggressive, though, banning out on the other side of things the Ash, the Jean, and the Bonnie for Now or Never. It was Gray, Poco, and Jean banned by MrDosa. I feel like MrDosa are going to be very careful now with this max first-hand pick. You just cannot find yourselves back on those ropes, and Tick going to come in for control. I quite like that. We kind of see Sprout taking a lot of those kind of ideas as well on layer cake, just to be able to shut down the lanes. But at this stage of the game, you can't really play that kind of brawler too early in the draft. You've got to wait until those later stages. Let's see what they're going to back it up with.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, it doesn't really synergize too well with the Max either. It's just two singular picks rather than that cohesive unit that you kind of expect out of a draft, on Layer Cake especially. And Tick is incredible in his own right, but Max kind of just got shut down instantly by that Otis. If you pair it with any tanks or anything like that, then it's not really going to be going too well. They're bringing the Carl, kind of a tank, but not really. It does have that aggressive tendency to be able to go in with the flying hook and get some damage done, and I think it'll be pretty strong.
Yeah, grab that first blue star and then just kind of sit back, get your flow, try and get a takedown here and there along the way to give yourselves even more of an advantage. But that is going to be the strategy of now or never being shown early on. And with that Tick as well, they can really kind of sit back, wait for super, get their utility down and kind of sit with that for the meanwhile. MrDosa have got a good chance here to really kind of go in with something like a Sprout, and it is going to be that, because ultimately there's no wall break on the side of now or never. They can see the big picture. The Thick Head, sure, that especially we're going to combine with the Mythic Gear could be a potential issue with Thick Head coming in, more tankability behind those supers to be considered on the side, but Notice can shred through that pretty nicely. So the Sprout pick here for me makes a lot of sense, and as long as they don't get pushed too heavily back, because that Max is going to be their biggest problem. If now or never can really utilize a lot of that speed, get that Sprout on the back wall, it's going to be a tough thing to defend against.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, like, Sprout doesn't have the best matchup against Tick as it is. It's going to be outranged, and the aggression coming in from Flying Hook and Max Speed might be a little bit too much for it to handle, but we'll see how it does play out. Fat Splatter straight down the mid to kind of get some damage on that Carl, who's obviously going to be going for that first star.
Emmerich looking to push forwards and try to close the gap against the good taps, but has to be a bit cautious here. Ooh, 660 HP, a little phase shift away from there from Lukey, but it's going to be Kaden who goes down, and that's going to give 2 stars over to MrDosa to the 1 now of now or never. A nice big wall there, shutting Lukey out the left-hand side. Beautifully done. Now Dorian comes in to take the lead here, and a second phase shift. There's only one more gadget for Lukey, and there's only 1 minute 20 left on the clock.
I mean, you're burning through them, but you're getting some value along with it. Managed to stay alive and assist his teammates in getting some kills there, so nice stuff from him. And then now got this kind of 50-50 matchup back in the mid once more. Stalemate and have the lead thanks to that blue star returning back into their hands. But Dorian has this mute. Lukey can't go as aggressive, and the same with Jaku if he does want to rotate over as well. Mirik just trying to play this straight matchup versus Kanan, and as I said before coming into the game, he's outranged and kind of outmatched at this point.
Well, big speed coming in from Lukey, and just the base there going down. Salty though is in hot pursuit. He does get a little tap. 114 HP left on his head, but Zaka comes in now with the body blocks, but they're not really working. Nice little pick up there from Emmerich along the way. Salty goes down though, and that is going to extend the lead big time for now or never, who have that blue star as well. There is time now for MrDosa to come back and go in the aggressive, but if Emmerich is out of position here, which he is, the flying hook coming in, the takedown is there as well. Beautiful stuff. It really is from now or never.
I mean, Emmerich's throwing down some great hedges, zoning people out really well, but just not getting the assistance on the defensive side that he needs. And here, once again, he's being left in the hands of Jaku, and now all 3 members have kind of got to collapse in and take him down. But Kanan's been caught off guard. He gets taken down as well, but the blue star is still the decider. Salty getting some good damage down as well, but Jaku just defending nicely, has this spin. Hedge not really going to be doing anything at all, and they add another one to their star count as well.
Teams that kind of like reform or want to try to experiment with different players, but nonetheless it is still that first month. Players and teams are starting just to find themselves, find their mojo, and going in now, that match that we didn't quite get to see feeding in smoothly, but now in for what is the set point potentially here for now or never. MrDosa with some catching up to do.
Yeah, Sprout just trying to get a bit of a look in down this mid, but not able to make too many connections just yet. Lukey does get found out in that bush, though, and brings him very low, and he's doing the same to Kanan now on this Tick. One more shot, and he'll be finished off. Lassera is popped, and he does survive just a little bit longer. Sprays some shots out as well. Brings him very low, and he's juking phenomenally. He does actually get the takedown and survives. Remains out of the way of this drop the base as well, so won't be going down to that. Just hedged in with his Tick head now, but eventually is going to get out, and that was just so phenomenal from Kanan to avoid those shots and get the kill as well.
Incredible stuff. Really was. Kanan absolutely excelling himself here today. The survivability is so important, but I'm gonna be honest, you know, MrDosa have been in this spot for a long time in both of these games so far. The positioning power is good. It's just every now and again, you get those flurries of greatness to come from Now or Never, which really shut the ideas down. Ticket coming in, and Dorian low HP. Volley blocking there, and the drop the base for a good measure from Salty there. Oh, but the bunching up is bad there as Luki goes down. It is going to bring the lead back over to MrDosa with 35 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, just needs to try hold on to it now. Hedge thrown down on the right hand side, but can't advance too much as he does see Xiaku in this mid. Has a flying hook in hand still, has the tail spin as well. Protective pirouette going to be the star power of choice for him, and he's rotating over to this right hand side now, sees his opportunity and wants to try and seize it. Nice standstill there from Emmerich just to avoid those flurry of tick shots coming down. Luki trying to pinch on the left hand side. They do have a hedge which is going to be blocking off one of these things, but also at the same time might put the last nail in the coffin as well, because now they are completely pinned in. Supers galore available. Okanen raining down. Can they get the shot through? Xiaku goes for the tailspin but doesn't get
On the side of Now or Never, they were really waiting for, where is that bush going to go down? Left hand side to block off the max, down the mid, and then they work around it. But by holding onto it the way that Emmerich did and just waiting until that last available opportunity, it gave them the edge. That is the sort of thing that I was exactly speaking of before coming into this game. What MrDosa needed was a game win to give themselves that little bit of a boost, and that's exactly the way to do it. But you see the aggressive nature of Now or Never now responding to that in just the way that they should, to come in here and really try to get this set like ironed out. Whoa. Emmerich taken down immediately by the tick head, and that's now turning the tides a little bit more into Now or Never's favor.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's be honest, they really didn't aggress that much in the previous game. In this game, they are doing it once again, and it seems to be working in their favor. 5 stars to 0 now, blue star in their hand as well, and this is the start that they need. Luki being a bit more aggressive than he was in the previous game, and you've got to question if this is how they win. Just over and over again, just go aggressive, no matter what the star lead, because now they're being put into that position once more of being trapped in spawn. In comes Xiaku though, tailspin there, he gets 1, can he get 2? Goes back off Salty and doesn't want to commit as hard as he thought he initially did. Almost taking him down now, he does fall, but both of them very low. Still, the lead in the hands of Now or Never.
Great last hurrah there from Kanan, just to ensure his survivability there against Emmerich. And to be honest, there's some moments where Emmerich is missing all 3 shots against Kanan. He needs to start to really try to iron some of those things out and land them like he was just then. There is still gadgets available there to Kanan, and that is a concern. Emmerich lays down a wall, but not the greatest of walls. Let's be honest, that little tile there is going to be something which will allow him to maneuver through. Now he replaces it as well. Speed coming in from Luki, trying to pushing things through. Salty gets a bit out of position on his own. He needs the support of his teammates to really... There's a wall that might help, but Luki out of position now. Can they bring this back? They need more takedowns, not just Luki. They'll probably pick up Luki, but he's surviving still, Trav. How is he doing it?
I mean, this is what I was talking about in the last game. They just sacrifice the players who aren't needed, but now he might be. They get 1 and they don't manage to secure the last kill on Kanan. He survived.
The save, so I kind of appreciate that. That's that kind of ban for me. I think, though, the key ones as well, they're being Brock and Ruffs. Ultimately, you know, eradicating some wall breakers. Colette as well. Such a big brawler to have for that kind of mid-lane damage, to be able to come back immediately to where you started, but ensure damage along the way, keeping him in position. Such a key thing to have. I think look out as well for B here as well. We saw a lot of that from SK last year on Safe Zone in particular, just keeping that kind of level of control. You know, teams like Reply Totem often bring in Buzz here as well. 8-bit. Another key brawler to have potentially here on Heist, and especially with that Brock ban, that might be here where MrDosa are kind of thinking they might be able to bring an advantage of some level. But definitely a lot of brawlers which I think can be quite versatile despite these bans. Again, if you're just joining the stream, MrDosa are banning out Colette, Brock, and Ruffs. Now or Never banning out Grey, Grom, and Bonnie.
And I mean, to be honest, I think we've kind of got to expect something that's going to be able to navigate that right-hand side, whether that be a Carl with flying hook, the Colt with wall break, or even Eve levitating over that water. I think there's going to be something that'll do it. Griff will be good enough for that kind of purpose, and Eve on the other side to navigate the water as well. So nice picks overall. We got the Bell and the Otis along with the Eve on that on the far side, and Penny with Lenny and B and Griff on the home side.
The Lex did say in the video, by the way, that it wasn't like kind of necessarily a lore thing, but it seems to be like a community, driven idea that's kind of stuck, it seems. But what you learn every day, it's like, I thought I knew everything in Brawl, but it was quite interesting to see that that was the one fact that I wasn't aware of. But I do like the Penny pick going into this Eve pick. Those hatchlings, as you can see there, will provide Emmerich a great deal of value if he lines up those shots, and Now or Never don't keep their distance. Salty's well in that B pick. I do actually kind of feel like I favor the comp here of MrDosa, but Now or Never are such an aggressive team, and a team that are very aware of their ranges, very good at dodging, very good at keeping their range, and that so far is what's giving them the bit of advantage here as they push up now to gain some good damage. 22% already on the safe.
Yeah, Lukey's really slimy in this mid. I can't lie. He's been avoiding pretty much everything. And I knew as soon as I was going to say it was going to get hit by the 3K, but he managed to avoid that as well. Nice takedown over the left-hand side from Jiaku. And they already have about 24% done. Dorian falling low once more, and Tomsy kind of excelling over that side. We do see the bell going down to the B, but he's going to fall as well. Jiaku's going to jump away, and instantly again, these hatchlings being taken down. The mute over the right side as Tomsy cleans up there, and Emmerich, he should fall as well. Full control to Now or Never.
Yeah, Now or Never really are in their element at the moment. Not a shred of damage on the side of MrDosa onto their safe. The long-range affair seems to really be working out in a place of comfort for them, as Tomsy continues to aggress Dorian on this right-hand side, and I feel like the Griff should potentially be able to win that kind of matchup a little bit better. Just at least get some shots towards Super along the way as the push to close that gap and feed potentially into some of those shots. But slow and steady wins the race as far as Now or Never are concerned. 30 seconds on the clock. No signs of faltering. Tomsy is going to win the right-hand side lane. And now all the damage gear is rolling in as well. Tomsy and Lukey able to get so much damage. 21% is all that's left. And again, not a single percentage for MrDosa.
I'm even kind of questioning at this point if we've seen more than one death on the side of Now or Never, but now they are all kind of falling, but 10 seconds left. Everybody falls down. A Mortar and a Penny aren't going to be enough to bring this safe down alone, and even the Penny goes down on top of that. They're going to stand still. They know they've won. Now or Never going on to match point.
Lock it in and keep your positioning power. That's free damage. But that was what Now or Never just deprived MrDosa of doing. And I think in that respect, got to hand over a lot of credit to Now or Never, because this can get out of control very quickly. Now we're seeing Emmerich pushing through just a little bit more. Salt is going to be very cautious here. He goes down, and that's exactly what MrDosa did not want to have happen here.
Yeah, instant break through the mid of air of Lukey. Placed a couple of nest eggs downs as well, so Salty's got to have an even harder time navigating that zone, and Emmerich over the left-hand side, even though he's got a pretty good matchup here, he hasn't really been excelling too much, and Tomsy over the right side has really been showing his worth against Dorian. Lukey now does have this mark as well, so that's going to add just even more stuff to be having to be avoided by Salty, and he just doesn't seem to be doing the best of it so far. Emmerich had to retreat once more. Salty getting the slow off, kind of get the 3K connection. He actually goes forward Tomsy, and two of them fall down. This is the plays that MrDosa need to make, because now they've got some control, but not really a lot coming from it.
Yeah, Dorian stuck through there on the right-hand side. He could choose to break, but keep the walls up for as long as possible in the meanwhile, because ultimately, yeah, that's a great mute there from Tomsy, which will seal the deal. Emmerich will put the turret down, but that might not be the best timing, especially if Luke can creep through here and get an angle on this this turret here as well. It could prove something which could get taken care of. Doesn't seem to be the case, and now with time on their side to bring in all three players there, Luke is just trying to get that angle here as well, and Salty, yeah, he's not really in a position to contest it too much at the moment. Get tagged up there as well. The protective layer will keep him standing for a little bit of time. That turret not really on the safe at the moment. Emmerich can't get too close to it either. Those ricocheting shots between him and the turret really are causing a lot of damage.
Yeah, Jiaku just trying to keep this mortar from stopping from locking on the safe, because they can't concede a lot of damage at this point. There's 40 seconds left, and they need to get some dealt themselves. Mortar's going to go down, and now the control swings, but a nice super coming in from Dorian there to keep both Lukey and Tomsy back. Clean up from Jiaku, though, as he helps now Lukey in the mid, who's going to be able to deal some damage to the safe. Another nest egg placed. Going to miss the mark, though. Penny Mortar defensively. However, they are still narrowly in the lead by about 2%, but still need to get some damage down. No fat splatters left. No more nest eggs either from Lukey, but he's getting the taps and he's getting the connections.
Tomsy there with just that little bit of a mark onto the safe, and it'll be enough. My word, now or never, just got to defend these final moments, and the push is not going to be there. It doesn't seem for MrDosa that it's going to be it. Now or never will push themselves.